Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Conor Ben happened to be a lot better than I thought it would have been. I'm hearing references to Gatti Ward and all this type of stuff. That's going a bit too far. But I will say this. It was a very entertaining fight. The entertainment level was definitely high. The two guys came out and went at it toe to toe in the middle of the ring from round 8 onwards. So that means 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It was toe to toe action. This is what the crowd wants. This is what the crowd would love to see. This is what entices the crowd. And even though the technique and the fundamentals were lacking, the effort was 20 out of 10 from both combatants. My cousin pointed out something very poignant to me. Not every good fight has to have great technique. Let's just enjoy what we're seeing in front of us. And for me, I think I was being too critical in what we were about to see to appreciate on the night what actually happened. Because even though it was very entertaining, I look for fundamentals. I look for shot selection. I look for how many times you actually catch your opponent flush and how many times you miss and such like. And for the most part, Conor Ben was throwing a lot of heavy duty punches but missing 90% of his shots that he selected. I believe Conor Ben's shot selection was quite poor. Chris Eubanks Jr. done what he needed to win the fight. He kept him at the end of his jab and he just used his experience. But one thing that was definitely telling is that 160 is too small for Chris Eubanks Jr. He can't fight at this weight anymore. All this stuff about him going to fight Erislandy Lara to go and get the middleweight title for the WBA is pointless. He shouldn't do that. He shouldn't fight at middleweight again. Weight restriction or not. Same day weigh-in or not. He shouldn't fight at middleweight anymore. This is it. He's over at middleweight. He needs to go to super middleweight or retire. Conor Ben, on the other hand, boy, I don't think he should go back down to welterweight. I've said it before and I'm going to maintain it. Going back down in weight is not clever. So we'll see what goes on going forward. The fact of the matter is, somehow, some way, both of these guys' stock have risen. Everyone across the world is saying that this is a classic. This is a British classic and there needs to be a rematch. I blatantly don't want to see a rematch myself. But the general consensus is there should be a rematch because a lot of people thought it was a draw. Personally, when I was watching it on the night, I thought Chris Eubanks Jr. definitely landed the cleaner shots throughout the fight, and I was giving him the edge, saying that he won the fight, in my opinion. And that's not by judging it round by round. That is just an eye test situation. But I thought he won the fight clearly, in my opinion. And I don't think a rematch is needed. I really don't think a rematch is needed. But the public are going to push for it, and it will be worth more than this fight was worth. Even though this fight seemed to have done well, box office and the stadium. The stadium seemed to be full by the time these two got in the ring. And Chris Eubanks Sr. doing his WWE bit of cussing off the situation beforehand, only to turn up to be ringside with his son on the night, only brought more drama and fanfare to the situation, which I believe made the pay-per-view numbers shoot up at that point. And with the contradiction aspect of Senior, Chris Eubanks is urging the press to focus on the correct things and not make this be a WWE type affair when he done the most WWE type thing in the whole situation by cussing off the thing, saying,
"I'm going to stand in your corner. You must be mad. You must be mad. I would never be in your corner. You're a disgrace."
To then,
well, I was always going to be here for my son, irrespective of what you thought. I mean, it's a show.
Be there with his son coming out of the elevator at the grand arrival on the night of the fight. posing for the cameras and all sorts. Posing as he got out of the car to go and greet his son in the car park and all of the rest of it. That was so WWE. It's unbelievable. And then he's pressing the press, pressing the journalists to do their job and not make a WWE spectacle of the situation. When they have to report on the fact that you weren't there, or they have to report on the fact that you said you weren't going to be there, but then you're now there ringside. Give me a bit of joke. But all in all, can't lie, it was an entertaining main event. And to be fair, it was lucky it was so, because the undercard failed to deliver. It failed to deliver, in my opinion. And I will address this in further videos. Chris EUBANK Jr. holds up his father's name, defends his father's honor, wins the fight. Now it's 2-0 with one draw when it comes to Ben versus EUBANK in EUBANK's favor. He's talking about, I want to come and do it again and come and avenge my dad, but you've not done it. So even if you do win the next fight, if you have a next fight, it's still 2-1 with a draw. So I don't know what they're talking about. I don't want to see no more of this. But they're going to milk it. They might have a trilogy. This might turn out to be a trilogy. You never know. But to be fair, they're not going to make anywhere near the type of money that they're going to make fighting each other. But I don't think Chris EUBANK Jr. should fight at this weight class anymore. No way. No way, Jose. He's the winner of this fight. He should call the terms for the next fight, if there is a next fight. And for me, I think he should fight no less than 163. Personally, no less than 163. Make it a catch weight of 163 and go and do the job. Do your business. But that's my assessment. The shot selection from both opponents was terrible, but the entertainment value was high. A lot of swinging from the rafters, a lot of swinging and missing, a lot of shots from Chris EUBANK Jr. that caught Conor Ben that didn't have the effect needed, because I think that the weight cut depleted him. He looked like a skeleton in there. He didn't look healthy. He was getting rocked by shots that shouldn't even have bothered him. But who's to say that? It's a fight. They had the fight. Chris EUBANK Jr. wins. And maybe he retires. In my opinion, retiring wouldn't be the worst case scenario for Chris EUBANK Jr. Conor Ben's stock has risen, so if he does try to go back down to welterweight and challenge the likes of Mario Barrios, they will definitely want to take the fight, and they will want big money to fight Conor Ben. So, with that being said, well done to both guys. Hopefully, Chris, who was rushed to the hospital, is recovering well. And I'll see you guys in the next video.